Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what is happening to the stock, what we can expect moving forward and all of that good stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, if you enjoyed, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my analysis, etc., I do have a membership section on YouTube for just $3 a month. You get access to all my thoughts, posts, updates on Tesla, and sometimes other stocks as well. Or for $5 a month, you get access to all of that. Plus, you get NVIDIA access as well. So definitely check that out if you're interested. I am thinking of opening up a new tier higher, which will include everything I mentioned, plus also include analysis about other stocks that I, essentially trades that I'm seeing. Anyway, that's to be determined. But nonetheless, let's jump into it. NVIDIA with a nice, respectable 2% day on the day, with the market being slightly in the red, closing at $148.29, which isn't too bad. Now, what does this mean moving forward on NVIDIA? Well, NVIDIA, like I said yesterday, it did obviously come down. And it did obviously hold this area as support. I mentioned how this area was a resistance before, clearly turned support yesterday, which I wasn't sure if that would happen or not. It did, which is good news. And we had a nice little reward for it, right? I did place that trade yesterday, and I did actually exit it today because, again, it's kind of range bound right now. I want to see where it wants to go next, right? And the way I want to see and how I will see where it wants to go next is really pretty simple. I mean, at the end of the day, it'll come down to what breaks first, 144 to 145, or a move back higher and ultimately breaking about that 150 level, which is going to be important, which is kind of where we went to today, right? We pretty much went almost exactly to my target of about $150 per share. And of course, unfortunately, we ended up getting rejected. It's not an insane rejection, but a rejection nonetheless. So we're clearly having some issues getting above that 150 level, right? Now, again, I want to make it clear, the stock to me right now isn't slightly overbought territory. Now, it's definitely not Tesla overbought, but it is slightly overbought and is slightly overheated. But again, nothing to really worry about too much. Now, obviously, the stochastic is officially flipping a little bit on the bearish side. So to me, that tells me momentum is a little bit weak, which is why I'm not going crazy over a potential entry up here. Because like I said many times as well, to me, it's all about risk versus reward. I want to get the best entry I can possibly get, which I did unfortunately and admittedly missed this entry back here because I wasn't using market bias there, which is definitely my mistake. But essentially, I'd want to see it ultimately, like I said many times, come back to essentially retest that market bias around that 135, 137-ish level. And I think that, to me personally, will be the sweet spot entry. Another reason why I think that's a very phenomenal entry, if of course we actually get there, I'm not saying we will, if we get there, which I think if we lose 145, we most likely will be this. If you take the Fibonacci retracement, of course, go from the recent swing low to what could be potentially the recent swing high, you can see the two most important levels being this red line and these green lines, right, are sitting around about 138 and as low as about this kind of 135-ish region. To me, this right here is pretty much the sweet spot. Like this right here is that sweet spot. That's the spot where you, if we get there, want to accumulate, because that is going to be essentially just not only placing another higher low, but NVIDIA also did make a higher high. The stock is in a clear uptrend, and the best type of entry you can get on these kind of higher highs and higher lows is, well, on the next low or higher low around this general Fibonacci range. And that is what I'll be waiting for. If I get it, absolutely phenomenal. If I don't, not a problem whatsoever. Maybe I'll play it on the break of 150. I'm still not decided. But that's kind of the main way I'm looking at NVIDIA, really just to put it as simple as possible, right? The stock, like I said, I'm not going to go over too much of the bearish thesis just yet because the stock is just bullish, right? There's no question about it. The stock is bullish. For instance, if I go like this, right, obviously we still have this trend. So, there is still a chance where if we lose 130, which I've been saying quite a bit, 130 is that crucial level. I think the stock will bleed even further and most likely head to low 120s. I think that is a possibility, but that's still a massive if, right? Until that's confirmed and until NVIDIA essentially stops making higher highs and higher lows, which it's absolutely been doing for quite some time now. You can see here, honestly, it's even been doing well before that. Boom, 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 right? It's just constantly making higher lows, higher highs, right? The stock is really powerful. You can argue the fact that it actually didn't over here. So this was why we had a little bit of weakness in this overall section. But ever since this low, it started making higher highs and higher lows. And essentially, it's continuing to do that. So until proven otherwise, and until that no longer is the case, and we set a fresh lower high, or we set a lower low, there's no reason to be bearish on the stock, and any dips that potentially come, which obviously will come, are opportunities. And that Fibonacci retracement is the best type of entry you can possibly ask for, as long as that trend remains, which again, as of right now, we have no reason to believe that it will not continue remaining looking like that. But yeah, that's probably the easiest way to look at it, and that's probably the most simplistic way to look at NVIDIA without overcomplicating things too much. Stock is still bullish. Earnings, of course, is coming up next Wednesday, so pretty much in a week from tomorrow. So we'll see what happens and how the stock behaves into earnings. Yeah, I think that's the main thing I really want to mention. Now, in terms of options flow, let's take a very quick look at options flow. Let's go over here. 4 million put actually came in on NVIDIA. That's a pretty rare sight. You don't see those very often. Clearly someone's bearish, but even with that being said, okay, never mind. Apparently the bulls are still strong, but the bears are finally coming out of the woodwork. 2.3 million put there. We have a 1.3 million call here, 1.2 million call here, 2.1 million call, and a decent amount of puts that came in throughout this little section over here. 1 million, 1.2 million, 1 million, all for December 18th. 160 strikes. So that's pretty interesting. Another 1.2 here for 3/21/2025. So a little bit more mixed than usual. I mean, you have another December put right here coming in for 4 million. So clearly the bears are feeling a little bit, well, bearish. They're coming out of hiding over here. So we'll see what that happens. But again, if they happen to be right, I only see the move coming back down as low as of right now, like I said, 137-ish to about 135-ish. That to me is the ultimate sweet spot. And that to me is where I will be exceptionally happy, starting a position once again. So yeah, that's really just the simplest way to put it without overcomplicating it. No reason to make a complicated. NVIDIA chart actually is a pretty beautiful chart. I like the way the stock moves. It's a very methodical chart. It moves with the rhythm and with a nice pattern. It's not overcomplicated, and I don't want to make it overcomplicated, right? Compared to like a stock like AMD, for instance, which is kind of like that weird stepbrother that, is just kind of like, cuckoo essentially, or even Tesla, that's also just kind of cuckoo. NVIDIA is a very beautiful chart. It moves in a very, very nice fashion, without too many weirdness, if you will, if that makes sense. Very clean chart and a very clean stock, to be completely honest. Honestly, I should be trading this a lot more than I even trade Tesla, because this is you get the point. I like the way the stock moves because it doesn't feel like it has a lot of random, question marks like, wait, what the hell just happened here? It doesn't feel like it has too many of those. It has them here, for instance, you can see here, it has its moments, of course, but for the most part, it's a very clean chart. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think down below. And as per usual, I'll see you for the next one. I don't think I missed anything. Let me just double check really quickly. 8 million confirmed bullish flow actually on NVIDIA over here. So that's always a good sign to see. So clearly the bulls are still ultimately overwhelming the bears, just not to an extent. And I think one thing I forgot to mention is this. We have CPI tomorrow and PPI on Thursday. My prediction right now, again, just a prediction, is the fact that the market will be overall muted, because I think too many people do want the market to fall. I think too many people want the market to crash. And I think best case scenario, when the market maybe goes down 1% at most, which potentially can bring NVIDIA down to closer to that 137-ish range. But I think for the most part, if I had to take a guess, the market might be a little bit on the more muted side as premiums continue burning away as the call volumes and IVs essentially elevated. That's my current prediction. We'll see if that plays out. But yeah, either way, thanks so much for watching. Peace.